Hi, I'm Randy Sims. Today we want to talk about some of the key components to a successful executive search project. But before we get into that, I'd like to give you a definition on what an executive search actually is. A search project is a very driven process, and it's going to bring three important entities together. Our search firm does not only include hiring senior company leaders, such as a CEO or chief financial officer or marketing officers, but we also work with division leaders, vice presidents of the companies, as well as management and senior sales executives. So the three entities that must work well together and be managed through correctly to have a positive outcome are, first, the hiring company, second, the candidates, and then third, the firm that will work to bring these two entities together. This, of course, being the search firm. So the search firm will not only do the work to find the top talent, but will also act as the mediator between the company and the candidate. The area I want to talk about today and focus on is the first piece, the hiring company. I want to share with you specifically what a company who is looking to hire a top leader or management candidate must do for their part to make this all come together. The most important thing is that a hiring company must put themselves in the shoes of a successful candidate and look at their company through the eyes of that candidate and see how appealing they would appear to them. Having been in this industry, the recruiting industry, now for over 20 years, I've always seen the parts of the conversations that sometimes the companies don't see or hear. And I want to share with you what I've learned and observed as very important pieces to the potential candidates. Let's do these as the three T's. The first thing is transparency. A candidate must see a company that they may choose to go to work for as being extremely upfront and transparent in that hiring process. Yes, of course, it's critical for your corporation or your company to be selling yourself as you work through this process, but you must also be willing to share not only the good, but the bad. It's important to be completely transparent. Let me share an example of this with you. Last year, I was looking to bring a key sales executive on to a large company. The company had a very difficult time opening up exactly how they were going to structure this person's bonus plan. And we spent a lot of time working through this and tried to get additional details. At the end of the day, the candidate just couldn't feel comfortable with the amount of information that the company was giving them on a very important aspect of what would be in their career. So these things create red flags. It could be something about their compensation, it could be something within the company's financials or so forth. But this process of transparency is critical to building the trust of your potential new employee. That second T is time. Now, you may take this for granted, but this is such an important issue. Just as in any successful relationship, you must be willing to invest time to make this hiring process work. For a hiring company, that means giving the priority of time to interview candidates. I've seen many great candidates pull themselves out of a process because the process just continued to lag on and they were not able to schedule them in a reasonable time. So what was in the candidate's mind and what they would share to me, they were concerned on how that company would operate in general. The company must also be very available and responsive to the candidates. They'll be reaching out to you in this process and asking you questions and wanting to find out more information. You must make yourself available. I was told specifically by a candidate once, they were in the interview process and they were trying to communicate directly with their hiring manager and they could never get them to return her calls. She finally came to me and she said, you know, I'm going to pull myself out of the process. I actually happened to know that they were about to make this person an offer. Once I told her that, she said, that's okay, I'm still going to withdraw myself from the candidacy. If I can't get on this person's calendar before I'm hired, I know I'm not going to be able to get on their calendar after I'm hired. So time is very critical. The final T we want to talk about is talent. Now, of course, a company wants to see talent from a candidate, but a candidate must see talent in the company that they may choose to go to work for. I've had countless conversations and debriefing after an interview with candidates as they make their decision to join a new organization or not. And how that organization's leadership is structured, how the board of directors are involved, and what value the leadership team is bringing to that company, including their vision, the strategy, and how they can carry those things out, are very important factors for that candidate to consider. A search committee or an interview panel must remember that a good candidate will also be interviewing them as well. So you want to put your best foot forward. You can always go back and say no to a candidate, but you can't always say yes to attract them back to your organization. You may be thinking, doesn't a candidate want to see great culture and a great compensation? Well, of course, and we're going to talk about those in another session. But these are very specific areas that a company has control of, and how they decide to present these areas in an interview process are crucial to success. Look at it this way. If a company could have the best culture, best compensation in the world, but you're not willing to display transparency to the person, you're not willing to take time to move them through the process at a good pace and respond back to their needs, or you're not showing the talent and how your company can really shine and the excitement in that company, none of the other pieces will matter. So remember, transparency, time, and talent. I hope this has been a help to you in how you can carry on a successful search process for your next A player. Stay tuned, because our next update is going to talk about what actually is going on in that candidate's mind in a more deeper process, and what you will need to focus on to attract them. If you'd like any more information on executive search or any details on what we discussed today, please feel free to reach out. Thank you.